welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the most unique color stories that I have in my collection. And if maybe the color story isn't the most unique, I will be showing you shades within the palette that I think are the most unique and different and interesting shades that I own. I kind of took this idea from another creator. Her name is Nikki Raven. She is such a special friend to me. She did a video like this not too long ago, and I just loved it. She had such cool palettes, and it really inspired me to look within my own collection to see what I have that I think is unique and interesting and fun and different. And I've stolen an idea from her in the past. My BH Cosmetics ranking video was initially her idea, so I guess you can just call me a big mooch. So I'm going to be showing you guys 14 palettes that I feel are very unique color story wise, or they have just some really fun, unique shades in them. So if you'd like to see which 14 palettes I've selected that I feel are my most unique palettes, or the shades that I feel are my most unique within my collection, then please sit back, relax, and let's get started. All right, if you're ready for some uniqueness, you are in the right place. Just sit back and let's look at these gorgeous palettes. Okay. The first one is the Juvia's Place Nubian 3 Coral, and I actually have that on my eyelids today in this video. This palette, when I first got it, I wasn't really sure what I thought of the color story. I didn't really think the colors went together, and they absolutely do. I love this palette. It's so much fun and so unique. I don't think I have anything even close to this palette in my collection. The thing that I really like about this palette is that you can do a multitude of different looks. I did do a look this morning with this palette for work, and I took pictures of it and put it on my Instagram. I wasn't thrilled with that look, but this look is the one that I normally do when I play with this palette, which is kind of silly. I mean, I just kind of get into doing a certain look with the palette and just kind of just go for it. But I really like how this look comes together. What I do is I use this in the outer V. I use this shade here kind of in the front part of my transition area. I blend out the gray shade with this kind of taupey gray. I blend out this shade with this lighter coral here. And then I use a combination of this coral shimmer and this gray shimmer on the lid, silver shimmer. And I just love how that looks. It's so pretty. These two shimmers together to me are just perfection, and I love it. But I really need to venture into other tones in this palette or other shades in this palette, like this one here, this kind of deep, dark, brownish coral. That is a really unique shade that I haven't tried yet, but I really want to, which is kind of surprising to me because these two shades I haven't touched, and those normally would be the shades I would instantly go for in this palette. But I just really enjoy using this because it's different. I always get compliments when I use this palette, and I just really enjoy it. So if you haven't picked this one up, I think it's very unique and different and fun. I love it. The next palette is the Cara Beauty Life of the Fiesta palette. I got this at TJ Maxx for I think like $5 or $6. And usually at my TJ Maxx, they're filled with Cara Beauty palettes, and they haven't had any for months. It's driving me berserk. I actually went up to the manager and I said, hey, could you please get some Cara Beauty palettes in here? I don't want to have to stand out in front of here with a sign that says, hell no, I won't go because you don't have Cara Beauty palettes. Okay, if you hear about that on the news, it was me. The thing that I love about this color story is that it's very different because it's got all these different tones in here. It's got 3 pressed glitters, this one here, this, and this. Now, the cool thing about the Cara Beauty pressed glitter formula is that it's very finely milled and it looks gorgeous on your eyelid, and it doesn't fall all over your face. So your eyelids look like a disco ball, but your whole face doesn't, which is very important to me. It's got these beautiful greens and blues, the purple, the pinks, the orange, I mean, yellow, light green here, kind of a neon green, but then you also have some neutral options as well. And I just think it's so fun because you have all these different places you can go when you use this palette. So if you haven't tried Cara Beauty, I would highly recommend getting one of these palettes. I think there's 3 in this, I think it's called Sugar Skull series, and they're just wonderful. I love these. The next palette is the Noblest Soul Blooming, and I got this from Steph, Not Your Basic Steph. She sent this to me all the way from the UK, my beautiful friend and soul sister. And at first glance, you might think, Erica, that is a neutral palette with some pops of color. Like, hello, who you fooling? And you're right, it is. But if you really look closely at the shimmers in this palette, you will be surprised. This one here, this is called Garden Gate. It's got this like pink to magenta to blue to purple reflect, kind of depending on how you look in the light. And it's so gorgeous. This salmony pink shimmer is beautiful. We have this beautiful kind of deep purple satin. And then this shade here is a really cool, unique shade too. It's a topper shimmer, but it has such a cool reflect in it. It's got a pink and a purple and like a blue, kind of like pulls this like lavenderish blue shade into it as well. So no matter what you do with this palette, I think it's just gorgeous. And when I first got it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty. But then I used it and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So if you don't have this palette, I highly recommend picking this up. Nabla has such a gorgeous, beautiful formula and quality. I do also have the Nabla Cutie Platinum palette, and that silver in that palette is like to die for. So I highly recommend this palette. It's just gorgeous. It's so unique because of those really cool shimmer shades inside. The next palette is the X&O Cosmetics Valkyrie palette, the Beautiful Tragedy MUE. This is such a gorgeous palette. Katie, Makeup for Last Time, she inspired me to pick up this palette after I watched her video creating a look with it. This shade here, Bifrost, this blue shimmer, is so stunning. I don't know that I have any other blue that's this vibrant and bright and gorgeous and goes on literally with one swipe of a brush and you're done. This silver shimmer here, it's very light silver, but it's just so beautiful. This one here, this is called Valkyrie. This might be my favorite shade in the palette, although Bifrost is, it's really good too. This is a really nice shade to use as a topper. So you can put this over any of the mattes and it just totally changes up the look. This shade here, this kind of maroon burgundy matte is gorgeous. And this black matte is stunning. I love it. It's so pigmented, but yet blends out so nicely. Very easy to manipulate on the eyelid. And then we have this really pretty kind of like seafoam green color too. And I just think this is such a unique color story. It's got the deeper shades, but it also has the lighter shades that you can use to blend those out with, which I really appreciate having in a palette. And this is just a really fun brand. It's a US indie brand, and I really want to get some more of their palettes. The next palette is the We Makeup. This is called Girl Powder. This is an Italian indie brand. And what you do is you go onto their website and you can create your own palette. And they have this size, and I think maybe 2 sizes besides this one. Like, I think they're bigger than this. I think this is the smallest one you can get, but I can't remember. It's been a while since I've done it. The quality of these shimmers is so amazing. I just wanted to get some like fun, different shimmers in my collection because at the time I just didn't really have that. And I saw Angelica Nikovas do a video about this brand, and I just was like, okay, sign me up. I got to get some of those. It's so much fun to go on their website. I mean, you don't even have to buy a palette if you don't want to, but you can literally sit there and create like 15,000 different color combinations and palettes. It's so much fun. I could stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning doing that. And I might, the night's young, we'll see. But these are just really unique, different shades. This one here shifts to an orange, this one shifts to a yellow, and this one shifts to a blue. I know it's gonna be really hard to see in my camera. And I used this shade here, this kind of purpley shimmer, not too long ago for work, and I posted pictures of it on my Instagram, and I just love it. They're so beautiful. They're very easy to apply. Like I said, once you get through that kind of top layer of the shadow, they're just spectacular. And this is a very unique little palette that I have in my collection. The next one is the Festival by Juvia's Place. I just think this is such a cool color story. It's got so many different tones in here. We have the orange, the red, the pink, the yellow, this bright blue, this really cool kind of gray, black shimmer, satiny shimmer. And then we have this kind of like peachy one. And then this one's really fun too, because you can layer this over the top of the mattes and it totally changes how the look comes together. It kind of takes on whatever colors underneath of it and just kind of has this really cool shift to it. And I just think this is so much fun for people that really like colorful looks, because you can do a lot of different things with this. Or you can go kind of more monochromatic if you wanted to just stick to like the reds and the pinks or the oranges. But I love this palette. I love this brand. I know I've said that a billion times on my channel, but I just love the mattes and the shimmers in this palette. And it's just a really fun, unique palette to use. This palette is the Nomad Cosmetics Tokyo Harajuku palette. This palette is insanely incredible. I remember seeing Amy Loves Makeup show this on her channel, and she talked about how life-changing this row of shimmers is, and I'm telling you, she was exactly right. These shimmers are so incredible. When I first got this palette, I kind of didn't really know what to do with it. I've never really had a lot of pastel palettes in my life and hadn't really used them much when I got this palette, but I just felt so strongly about owning these shimmers. I had to have them. And Katie, Makeup for Last Time, she has a video on her channel where she does like, I think 3 looks with this palette, and it was so inspiring and it gave me kind of the motivation that I needed to actually use the palette. And also my really good friend on this platform, her name is Freya. Her channel name is Confetti Masquerade. She recently did a video where she created a look with this palette and it was absolutely stunning. I'm gonna link Freya's channel in my description box. Please go check her out. She's so talented and I love her to pieces. She's from the UK. She has the best accent and she does some of the best eye looks I have ever seen. So please go subscribe and watch her videos. back to the palette. We have a row of mattes here, a row of satins, and a row of shimmers, which is, in my opinion, just the way the palette is laid out is very unique. I don't think I have any other kind of palette that's laid out exactly like this. But these shimmers, like I said, I mean, they're mind-blowing. This one here is so unique. It looks pink in the pan, but when you put it on your eyelid and you turn your head, it's got this icy baby blue that just right in your face. And I just love it. And every time I've ever created a look with this palette, I've gotten a lot of compliments. And the cool thing is you have this kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of a brownish gray matte that you can layer these pastels over the top of, and it deepens the pastel. So sometimes people kind of avoid pastel palettes because they're like, well, it's too light and there's really not a deepening option in the palette, so I'll stay away from it. But this one has that. So if you haven't picked this up yet, you can still get this on their website. I was just on the Nomad website not too long ago, and I highly recommend it because these shimmers are gonna knock your socks off. And even if you have shoes on, your socks are gonna come off your feet through your shoes. The next palette is the So Jaded by Colourpop, the Kathleen Lights collab with Colourpop. And I've shown this before. Mine's gonna look different than yours probably because I have rearranged the shades. Angelica Lirimar did a video where she popped all the shades out and put them back in the order that she thought was most aesthetically pleasing to her. And I instantly went, got my palette, got a magnet, sat down and did the same thing. So yeah, mine looks different. I love the jewel tones in this palette. I know there's a lot of neutrals, which I'm fine with, but I know not everybody likes that. But the jewel tones in here to me are so cool and so vibrant and so unique and different. And you have everything you could possibly want in a jewel toned look in this palette, if that makes any sense. These shades are just gorgeous and they are such great quality. They look so beautiful on the lid. You can create a multitude of looks with this palette. It does have a couple pressed glitters that I probably will never use because I don't like the Colourpop pressed glitter formula. It's way too chunky. I've gotten into my eye before. No, thank you. But the rest of the shades in this palette, I love. This one here, this chartreuse green is so beautiful. This one here, this kind of seafoam green is lovely. This red shimmer is gorgeous. And I just thoroughly enjoy playing with this palette. I love it. You can go more neutral, obviously, and more colorful. I love those kind of palettes. I know I say that in every video. You guys are like, ugh. But this is so much fun. And to me, it's a very unique palette because like I said, you have all the jewel tones you could possibly want in a palette. Hence the jewels on the front. Yeah, got my thinking cap on. The next palette is one of my absolute favorite palettes that I have in my collection. This is the only Kaleidos Cosmetics palette that I have. I always wanted to try this brand and I'm so happy that I picked up this palette. This is the Club Nebula, the Angelica Nikivist collab with Kaleidos. And the shades are so gorgeous in this palette. I mean, like really, it's like just absolute powdered magic in a palette. And the packaging is gorgeous. I mean, let's look at the front again. Look how pretty that is. It's so like flippy and unique and I just love the design. But back to the palette. The shimmers in here are so good, so good. They are so beautiful, so unique, very shifty, very flippy, all of them. I mean, they're so different than anything I have in my collection and I thoroughly enjoy this palette. When I first got it, I used it for like, I don't know, a week or two straight. I haven't used it in a while and now that I'm looking at it again, I'm like, oh yes, I'm gonna use you again. Use you and use you, my dear. We have these beautiful mattes in here too, like this one here, this blue, this purple, this kind of deep fiery red. This orange shimmer is just stunning and it kind of flips to a pink. This one here, it's kind of deceiving because it looks kind of purpley pink in the pan, but then it kind of almost has like this gray silvery reflect to it too. This green one is lovely and this blue has this beautiful purple reflect. I mean, you can create so many beautiful looks with this. I just thoroughly enjoy this. And like I said, if I was gonna try Kaleidos Cosmetics, I did try Kaleidos Cosmetics, but I'm just really glad that this was the palette that I got. I could go crazy on that website. I could buy every single palette, but I do need gas in my car and my cats need litter for their litter box. Because yeah, try having indoor cats with no litter in a litter box. Anyway, this palette is gorgeous. I don't know if this is still available, but I'm telling you, if you can get your hands on this baby, you will not be disappointed. The next palette is one from BH Cosmetics. This is the Naughty palette. And you might also think that this is a neutral with some pops of color. And you know, you could be right. Yeah, you could be. But I still think that the color story of this palette is very unique and very different. And you can do so much with this. You have all these different colorful but neutral options. This shade here, it's called Candied Fruit. I love the shade. It's got the most beautiful reflect to it. It's kind of like a magenta to a blue to a purple, and it looks so pretty on the lid. I've used this a few times, and every time I've used this palette, I've gotten compliments on it. And I'm actually going to be doing a collab with this palette with another creator, but I'm not going to give it away. And I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And yeah, this is just such a really pretty palette. They have kind of a pressed glitter formula in here, this one and this one, but not anywhere near as chunky as the Colourpop. It's actually even finer milled than the Cara Beauty one, which, you know, that makes me just go gaga. So yeah, this is making me go gaga too. I just love all of the different tones in here. I love the packaging. I love BH's formula, the quality. This is one of their best formulated palettes that I've ever used. So I don't know if this is still available. I was for a long time, and it was also on sale for a long time. So maybe check it out if you haven't picked this up, but I do highly recommend getting this. The next palette is one I have not used yet. This is the Alien Cosmetics Milkshake palette. This was a birthday gift from Steph, not your basic Steph. I was so excited when I opened this palette. I'd seen pictures of it on their website, but seeing it in person is a whole nother experience. This is such a beautiful palette. And the reason why I haven't used it yet is that myself and a couple other creators, I'm gonna keep it a secret, are thinking of doing a collab with this palette. We just kind of need to get our ducks in a row and not have 900 other things going on in our lives. But the shimmers in here are just amazing. And I haven't swatched them. I get a little nervous about swatching palettes because I've hard pan shades before because I've had gunk or grease or dirt or who knows what on my hands, cat hair, and I've ruined shades from doing that. So I do not want to ruin this baby. It's pristine. But look at this color story. It is so diverse, so unique, so amazing. And I have heard nothing but wonderful things about Alien Cosmetics. So this baby is just sitting here waiting patiently for me to use it. And I cannot wait to finally use this palette and create a look with it. This shimmer here, this kind of bright strawberry pink, looks just stunning to me. We have this gorgeous lavender shimmer, but it also kind of has this pink in it as well. And then we have this gorgeous bright yellow shimmer. Gorgeous. The green mattes, they just have me at hello. This one here, this kind of deeper raspberry red, this bright red shimmer, this light gray even. I mean, I love it. I love the fact that there are deeper tones, but then the lighter tones that you can use to blend the deeper tones out with. I love palettes like that. I am a broken record. I get it. But this is just so lovely, and I cannot wait to give it a try. Like I said, I've heard nothing but good things about this brand, so I hope we're able to do our collab soon because I'm dying to use this. The next palette is another BH Cosmetics one. This is the Zodiac palette. And again, you're probably thinking, Erica, another neutral palette with pops of color. Yes, you guys, but hear me out. I can sell this to you. I swear I can. The shimmers on the outside here, this ring of shimmers, is this beautiful baked shimmer formula that to me is one of the most unique shimmer formulas that I own in my collection. And the tones of these shimmers to me are so beautiful and so different. I have a couple of these baked shimmer palettes. I have the Solar Flare, and then I also have the Love Signs, which is very similar in layout to this. But the colors of these shimmers to me are so cool and so different and so unique. This one here is kind of like a black purple. It's so pretty. I just love this one here too. It's kind of like a, I don't know, bluish green. This kind of jade green is gorgeous. And then, you know, yeah, there are some more neutral shimmers in here as well. But it also has this really cool highlighter in the center that I really like using too. This palette is frequently on sale on the BH Cosmetics website. So if you don't have this, I would check it out and get it if you can get it on a sale, because I really think you'd enjoy playing with this palette. It's got some really nice mattes, the great formula, but the baked shimmers are just, they nailed it with this. Love it. The last palette is the Beauty Bay Bright palette. And I got this palette based on a suggestion from one of my subscribers, Cheryl, who has become such a precious dear friend to me. And I did create a look with this with my 21 questions tag video that Cheryl also suggested that I do. And I know this is a rainbow palette. I know there's a ton of rainbow palettes out there, but this one to me is just perfection because it's got all the different tones that you would need to create a look using a rainbow palette. You have all these variants, so you can do monochromatic, you can go, you know, row by row, or you can go up and down like this and use all different colors together. And you have so many different varieties that I just think it's really fun. It's just a really fun palette to get out and play with because you can just go crazy with it, do whatever you want. The quality is superb, the mattes and the shimmers. The shimmers are more of like a satiny shimmer. They're very soft, but they're so easy to manipulate and they look gorgeous on the lid. No matter which ones you use, I promise you, you will be happy with your look. I haven't used all the shades in this palette yet, but that's my plan. And I really want to get this out and play with it some more. I've only used it twice and I really enjoyed it. And Beauty Bay has some just awesome palettes. Awesome. That's another brand that I could just go bonkers buying palettes over. I mean, I have got to force myself to stay off the Beauty Bay website because it's dangerous. It's dangerous. But this palette is just stunning. I highly recommend it. If you don't have a rainbow palette, or maybe you have, a few, but you want to add another one, I highly recommend picking this up. The formula is gorgeous. And to me, it's so unique because it's got so many different rainbow tones in here. All right, those are my most unique color stories, or the shades in my collection that I think are the most unique. I would love to hear if you guys have these palettes and what you think of them. I would also like to hear about the unique color stories and shades that you have in your collection. I just love talking about eyeshadows. I could do that for days on end. And it's a good thing that I have this channel because my family was like, listen, we don't care about eyeshadows. If you can't eat it, we don't want to talk about it. I have a son, he's 19. That kid is a human vacuum cleaner. Okay, I'm getting off track here. But really, I would love to hear about your most unique shades or color stories in your collection. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening to sit down and watch my video. It always means the world to me. If you have subscribed or you would like to subscribe, do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video, but in the meantime, please take care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks again, you guys. Take care. Bye.